Bulldog basketball is live here from the Fred DeLay Gym. We've got non-conference action between the Union Bulldogs and the Cumberland Phoenix, joined as always by Union men's coach Dave Niven. And Coach, first off, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
So your team's coming off of a 2-0 start to the season down in Shorter. And, well, first off, you have a lot of newcomers on this team, and a couple in particular. You know, you've got a transfer from UNA who's been starting here in the first couple games. You've got Samori Gay, someone who's made a pretty big impact in the post early on. Taranda Smith, the local Jackson native. Just talk about what these newcomers bring to the table for this year's team.
Well, we've got 10 of them, so probably can't get to all of them in this interview. But you know, it's you know, basically a whole new team. We have four freshmen from last year that are returning, and then we brought in everybody else brand new. So it's been a lot of fun. You know, the learning curve has had to be pretty quick. I mean, you'll see we're still figuring out how to play together, and I'm figuring out how to sub and what our rotation should look like, and you know, who can play what position and what do they do best. And so we're still trying to figure that out as every time you play a game, you see a different style of play, different things you have to guard, and so you get to figure new stuff out about your team that you can't in practice. So that's why games like this are really, really valuable for us, especially when you have as many new guys as we do.
And you've got the Gulf South Conference Freshman of the Year returning in Tyree Boykin, and easy to say he's had a pretty decent first couple games, 77 points in 2 games, averaging 38.5. And honestly, 48 points in his first game, second most in Union history for a single game. Just talk about what's changed for him over the offseason and the adjustments he's made to really, he's been a more aggressive player this season, and it's shown. So what changes has he made?
I think he's just playing with a great deal of confidence right now. You know, he's always been an extremely hard worker. And so this is a year where when you have as many new guys as we do, he's played more than anybody returning. He was voted unanimous captain by his teammates as a sophomore. That's pretty rare. And so I just think he gets to play with a lot of freedom, knowing that, man, his teammates love playing with him. They're all together. They're looking for him when he's hot. They're looking for him, trying to get him shots. I probably could have done a better job. If I had known he was 1 point away from setting a school record, I might have called a few more sets for him. We might have been able to break a record. I had no idea he was that close. To be honest with you, I didn't know what the record was. I knew he was in the 40s, but if I'd known we were that close, we might have had a new record on Friday.
Well, you know, just one of many great games to expect from him this season. But looking now toward the rest of the season, this is a very talented Gulf South Conference this year, Valdosta, West Florida, Christian Brothers, among others. What will this team need to do in order to compete with those top dogs?
Oh, you got to really, for us, trying to start on the defensive end, create an identity that we're going to be great defensively. And so I think we've got the pieces to do that. We're still learning what that looks like, but we've got the ability to put a lineup on the floor that is really athletic, that has some length, some size inside. So that's one of those things where I think that's going to be tested tonight with Cumberland. They're a very good team. They're going to test us off the dribble. I think we're going to have to be able to move our feet really, really well, stay in front of guys, and then they've got some good post players that it's going to be a challenge for us to defend and do so without fouling. So, you know, that part of our identity on the defensive end is certainly going to be tested tonight.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, Alexander Bitterling and I will break down tonight's matchup. But first, West Tennessee this week.
When I first came to Union, it was already like March or April of my senior year, and I hadn't decided where I wanted to go. I was looking at big Christian schools, small Christian schools, even state schools. I didn't want a Christian school that would just hide me away from the world and like just teach me to live within a Christian environment that hasn't shielded me from secular beliefs or opinions or ideas, but it's taught me how to think about it through Christian lenses. There's so many things I love about Union. One of them is definitely the professors. They have all taken such a personal interest in my growth, and they have all been very, very dedicated to helping me grow both as a Christian and as a student. If I had to sum it up in one word, I would definitely say opportunity. It's given me so many chances to be a leader in different clubs and organizations. It's given me the chance to expand professionally, to build my portfolio. It's given me a chance to pursue my own interests and passions, and it's just been an extremely encouraging and empowering environment.
I'm Logan Whaley. West Tennessee This Week is your weekend look at the top stories that are affecting your life. Whether it's the new direction for public schools in Jackson, a growing economy in our part of the state, the controversy over a new jail, or the men and women who work to keep our community safe, West Tennessee This Week will cover all the stories. When leaders make decisions to affect your life, we'll be there. Join us for West Tennessee This Week, Saturday nights at 10 and Sunday mornings at 10 on NBC 39.
Gig, 1,000 megabit speed, now available to any E+ broadband internet customer. This gig-enhanced infrastructure has the capacity to increase speeds in the future. E+ broadband, what many interpreted as JA's entrance into cable television, was actually the foundation of an unparalleled communications infrastructure. Looking out for Jackson's economic and lifestyle future is all a part of JEA today.
Hello, I'm Madeline Fleming. In news across West Tennessee today, we are under a winter weather advisory. We do expect a mix of rain and snow during the afternoon hours, and that will likely change to snow tonight. Every county in West Tennessee is under the advisory. This went into effect at 6 o'clock this morning. It continues until noon Thursday. We expect somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 inches in the Jackson area. In Northwest Tennessee, that could increase to 2 to 4 inches. Our senior forecaster, Steve Beverly, has been keeping watch on this ever since Monday when the models began showing snow. He's standing by at the weather board with more details. Steve, how serious do you think this is going to be?
Well, Madeline, this was not supposed to happen, but as Eddie Holmes informed a number of us at West Tennessee Weather Online, we did have a light dusting of snow before Thanksgiving in 2014. Wasn't much of anything, but we did have some. But we think it's going to be a little bit more. Let me run down everything for you. We're going to have snow mixed with some freezing drizzle and sleet at different times between now and early tomorrow morning. Now, don't get all up in arms about this or thinking we're going to shut the town down. Total snow accumulations, this is all across West Tennessee, up to 2 inches. There will be some spots in Northwest Tennessee that we are looking at possibly maybe 3 inches in that case. It's going to be, our winter weather advisory is covering all counties in West Tennessee, including Madison, Gibson, Crockett, all of them. Now, it's going to continue until noon on Thursday. Now, eventually, all these clouds are going to get out of the way. We're going to have a really nice weekend. But you can plan on some difficult travel conditions tonight and on Thursday morning, depending on where you go on the I-40 corridor. But this is our winter weather advisory map. That is not going to change. And in fact, we have already begun to see some wintry mix occur throughout the West Tennessee region. Now, let me show you the snow forecast in detail. This is where, you get into Northwest Tennessee and Northeast Arkansas, this is where a lot of it is going to be, up around Parrish, Union City, all those areas, about 2 to 3 inches. I hate to burst everybody's bubble because I heard some people say last night, well, Eddie Holmes said we were going to have between 1 and 4 inches. Calm down, everybody. The prediction here in Jackson is between 0 and 1 inches. We're thinking it's going to be somewhere around maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. That's not going to be enough to shut the town down. I'm not going to tell you schools will or won't be closed because sometimes it depends on the conditions of the school buses being able to navigate some of those circular roads out in the rural areas. But all the way up the I-40 corridor, that's going to be the least amount of snow that we're going to probably see. Maximum about 1 inch in the Jackson area. If we get more, okay, you can blame me for that afterward. But just be prepared. I know the bread and milk lines at all the grocery stores, they're probably filling up. this is probably not going to be as bad as a lot of people, particularly students, hope for. Nonetheless, Madeline, I think that we'll be on tap and we'll be here in case there are any new advisories.
Thank you, Steve. The big question now for many children and college students is whether school will be closed Thursday. As of 1 o'clock this afternoon, we've had no reports of any closings, but that could change as the day develops. Ray Washington of the Jackson-Madison County School District said any decisions will be made based on the safety of bus transportation. Washington said boilers in a number of older schools were fired up this week well ahead of normal. Because of the weather conditions, after-school activities have been canceled today in Jackson-Madison County schools. If we learn of new closings, we'll post them at West Tennessee Today on Facebook. What now? That's what a number of people are asking after Jackson City Council voted to table a decision on building 2 new schools until December. Madison County Commissioners overwhelmingly approved the plan Monday night, but City Council members said they still had to plow through information on the proposal before a vote. At Tuesday's Education Vision Committee meeting, School Board member Morris Merriweather said he still didn't have answers to key questions about the plan. Fellow board member Shannon Stewart told Merriweather he needed to be calling members of the Community Redevelopment Agency, which is overseeing the plan.
Here we are in the 9th hour. County Commission has voted, City Council postponed. And we have this kind of question going around, and at the table we have board members, we have county commissioners, we have contractors, finance people, and we sit here on the 9th hour about to construct millions of dollars worth of school. Nobody can answer the question. We're saying, if so-and-so was here. It sounds like we got more, we just got 1 or 2 people that know what's going on in a city as large as Jackson.
I mean, I have enough information. I voted for it the other night at our meeting. So did all these county commissioners.
The thing is,
the plan is to build a new Jackson Central Mary Middle and High School. The county would put up the funding for that. The city would finance a new Madison Academic High on the campus of the University of Memphis-Lambeth. If the city does not approve the plan in December, it will not go forward. Superintendent Jones was asked if he has a contingency plan.
I always have considered a contingency plan, but we're still hopeful about that. We hit a little snag, but still hopeful that that could possibly happen. But if not, we absolutely will start looking at Plan B, C, and D.
A West Tennessee high school band director now faces sexual misconduct charges in a second county. 40-year-old John Scruggs turned himself in to the Crockett County authorities Tuesday. He already faces a preliminary hearing on similar charges in Gibson County. Scruggs is accused of inappropriate sexual misconduct with an underage student. That includes multiple counts of statutory rape and sexual battery. He was arrested in Gibson County on sexual battery charges in September. The Crockett County charges are said to have occurred between January and March of last year. The victim was a 15-year-old who was babysitting at the Scruggs home in January of 2017. His preliminary hearing in Trenton will be in December. Friends and colleagues are mourning the loss of Jackson businessman Jonathan Harlan. Monday night, Harlan died at the age of 55 after fighting a series of health problems. Harlan founded Aeneas Internet and Telephone in 1995 in the early days of online service in Jackson. He served 8 years on the Madison County Commission and was a pioneer in downtown renovation. His memorial service will be Sunday afternoon at 2 at St. Luke's Episcopal Church. Visitation begins at 1 o'clock. He is survived by his wife and 4 children, along with his mother. The last 2 weeks have brought a threat of tornadoes and an approaching winter storm to West Tennessee. When those things happen, emergency management personnel spring into action. The 7th Annual Tennessee Emergency Preparedness Summit is underway at Union University. The 2-day conference draws about 250 people from across the state, including firefighters, law enforcement, public health workers, and first responders. He's detailing the response after the October 2017 shooting at a music festival that left 58 people dead, including a former Union University nursing student.
Not everybody's ever going to have that active shooter event in a school or the Las Vegas thing, but if you do, you want to know what others have done and what worked, what didn't work, what needed to be worked on later. It's the same thing like with tornadoes. Not everybody's going to have a tornado. You're not going to have a tornado every year, but when you have one, you want to learn from what works, what didn't work.
The conference continues through tomorrow at Union's Carl Grant Events Center. And that's our look at news across West Tennessee. I'm Madeline Fleming. Remember, stay with West Tennessee Today on Facebook for more details on winter weather and on possible school closings. Wherever you go, we hope you have a great day in West Tennessee today.
When I first came to Union, it was already like March or April of my senior year, and I hadn't decided where I wanted to go. I was looking at big Christian schools, small Christian schools, even state schools. I didn't want a Christian school that would just hide me away from the world and like just teach me to live within a Christian environment. It hasn't shielded me from secular beliefs or opinions or ideas, but it's taught me how to think about it through Christian lenses. There's so many things I love about Union. One of them is definitely the professors. They have all taken such a personal interest in my growth, and they have all been very, very dedicated to helping me grow both as a Christian and as a student. If I had to sum it up in one word, I would definitely say opportunity. It's given me so many chances to be a leader in different clubs and organizations. It's given me the chance to expand professionally, to build my portfolio. It's given me a chance to pursue my own interests and passions, and it's just been an extremely encouraging and empowering environment.
Propane, 95% generated in the U.S., is a gas that works anywhere. Central tanks for fleets, vehicles, portable tanks for forklifts, lawnmowers, the fuel you can take anywhere. Even backup generation runs off propane. Household appliances, outdoor features. To find out more about affordable, clean, versatile propane, contact JEA's ProGas, 422-7500, the alternative fuel that makes sense. Propane, part of JEA today.
Community leaders are talking about Steve Beverly's TV classics, but are they serious? Do they like classic TV? Do they really watch?
That's a lot of questions in one sentence, Steve.
What do they think about the host?
I don't have any clear answers to that.
What usually happens if you watch TV classics?
A very entertaining evening for people.
Watch TV Classics Saturday and Sunday at 7 on TV6.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And welcome into the broadcast here on E+ TV6. I'm Logan Whaley, and a fresh new face here joining us now on Union Basketball, the one and only Alexander Bitterling. Alex, welcome to the broadcast.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Logan.
Well, absolutely. Well, we have a non-conference matchup in store for you tonight. As the Union Bulldogs, 2-0 on the season, they will host Cumberland University of the NAIA. Now, to give you a little bit of a background of this game, starting on Union's side of things. Now, Union, a team not necessarily predicted to do well in the Gulf South Conference this year, picked 10th in the preseason poll, coming off of a pretty tough season last year, some would say, 12-16 on the year. But a ton of new faces on this year's team. You heard Coach Niven earlier in the pregame show, 10 new faces to be exact. And honestly, this could be a good year for the Union Bulldogs, especially if Tyree Boykin continues to play the way he's been playing. Union went 2-0 last week in the Gulf South Conference and the SIAC Conference in the GSC SIAC crossover at Shorter in Rome, Georgia, and Tyree Boykin went off 77 points in 2 games for the reigning Gulf South Conference Freshman of the Year. And Alexander, what 2 performances it was for Boykin. 48 points, one shy of tying the most in a single game in Union history. Tyree Boykin, you saw it a little bit last year, flashes of potential, and now it looks like he's really showing up to play this season.
Absolutely. He has just gone off on teams like you mentioned, and he was well rewarded for it by being called the Gulf South Conference Player of the Week.
Absolutely. Boykin, Player of the Week, and the young sophomore, as Coach Niven mentioned in the pregame show, his teammates think highly of him to call him captain. But again, Union 2-0 on the season, and honestly, this is the year where it's really a gut check for Coach Dave Niven. He really needs this year to be a good year for his team. But let's go ahead and give you the starting lineup for the Union Bulldogs. Head coach Dave Niven in his 10th season, 162 wins and 116 losses. He'll roll out J.C. Hawkins, the sophomore forward, 6'6", out of Independence, Kentucky. 2 games started in the season, didn't score last game, but he did have some positive numbers with 3 rebounds and 3 assists. And then we've got the aforementioned Tyree Boykin, the sophomore guard out of Clarksville, Tennessee. His 3rd game started on the season. 77 points in 2 games. His last game against Lemoyne-Owen, 29 points, 11 of 17 shooting from the field. then you've got Samori Gay, the junior 6'10 forward out of Angers, France. He had 4 points and 9 rebounds in 23 minutes against Lemoyne-Owen last game. 5.5 points per game, 5 rebounds on the season. Then you've got Tyrandus Smith, the local Jackson product out of Southside High School, the transfer from Arkansas State Mid-South. He will be making his second start of the season, 7 points, 3.5 rebounds per game, had 7 points and 4 rebounds in his last game against Lemoyne-Owen. And then you've got the point guard Peyton Stovall, the transfer from the University of North Alabama, sat out last season. He's played pretty well to start off this season. Of course, only had 4 points last game against Lemoyne-Owen, but a ton of positives with 8 rebounds. Also had plenty of assists in his first game, too, against Spring Hill. So that's the lineup for the Union Bulldogs. That is the 5 that Dave Niven will roll out. Now, shifting gears to talk about Cumberland University. And Cumberland and Union, former rivals in the NAIA. In fact, this meeting will be meeting number 54 between the two teams. Union leads the all-time series 41-12, but Cumberland, a very good NAIA program, coming off of a few tough years, but this is a program that is on the bounce back. 5-0 this season, including led in scoring by the one senior on the team. That is Andrew Rogan, averaging 17 points per game. Let's go ahead and flash the starting lineup for Cumberland on the screen right now. You've got Kareem Wright, the junior guard out of Nashville, Tennessee, the transfer from Grambling State. This is his 6th start on the season. You've got Tyshawn Powell, the senior forward from Cleveland, Ohio, the transfer from Pacific University, averaging 15 points and 8 rebounds a game this season. Then you've got the junior guard Jason Williams, the transfer from East Tennessee State University, averaging 15 points per game on the season. You've got, well, Andrew Rogan, as we mentioned, a great player on this year's team. 17 points, that's going to be the player to watch. 4 rebounds. And then the freshman forward, Isaac Stevens out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, scoring 63% of his shots on the season, 17 of 27, 8 points and 5 rebounds per game. So there you have it, the starting lineup for these two teams. And Alexander, we got about a minute before we kick it down to Josh Simmons, but what can you expect out of Cumberland? A team that, well, really, we're not expecting a whole lot out of them, but what can they do to give Union a fight in this game?
Well, I think they can really take it to Union down there in the lane. As we've seen, Union struggled with defense in the last couple of games, and that might be a theme through the rest of the season. So I think if they really dribble it in down in the lane, they might be able to make some baskets there.
And Union, as you mentioned, they've struggled a little bit defensively so far this season. That was one of the main struggles they had last year as well. And another big struggle so far this year is turnovers. You've got Union turning the ball over 16 times per game. That's something that, if you're Coach Niven, you definitely want to see that number go down. But those are your starting lineups for these two teams. Union in a tune-up game here against Cumberland from the NAIA. So, again, Alexander, you've got your keys for Cumberland, but what does Union need to do to pull off a victory here tonight?
Well, I think Union's in a really good place. As you mentioned, they are a AA team, and Cumberland here is in NAIA, so they're in a really good place to already win this game, but I think they really need to show up and make this game count so that the rest of their season looks really good.
Definitely don't want to overlook anybody, no matter what team. And Union 2-0 in the season, looking to improve to 3-0. Cumberland looking to improve to 6-0. So at this time, we're going to kick it down to Josh Simmons, our PA announcer for the preliminaries here at the Fred DeLay Gymnasium. We've got Union, we've got Cumberland right after the starting lineups.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fred DeLay Gymnasium here on the beautiful campus of Union University. Tonight's match features the visiting Cumberland University Phoenix facing off against your Union University Bulldogs. Union University, the Gulf South Conference in the NCAA, promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition. Thank you for your cooperation. At this time, we ask that you would please rise and remove your caps for prayer, followed by the playing of our national anthem by the Union University Pregame. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for a beautiful night to come out and play the game of basketball. Lord, we pray your hand of protection over the players on the court this game, that we would have both an injury-free game and that we would have high levels of sportsmanship on each side. starting lineup for the Phoenix. At guard, the 6'1" junior from East Nashville, Tennessee, number 0, Pregame. At guard, the 5'9" junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 4, Jason Williams. At forward, the 6'8" senior from Cleveland, Ohio, number 5, Deshaun Powell. At guard, the 6'5" senior from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, number 30, Andrew Logan. And at forward, the 6'6" freshman from Juliet, Tennessee, number 48, Isaac Stevens. The Phoenix are head coached by Jeremy Lewis. And now, the starting line for your Union University Bulldogs. At guard, the 6'6" sophomore from Independence, Kentucky, number 3, J.C. Hawkins. At guard, the 6' sophomore from Clarksville, Tennessee, number 11, Tyree Boykin. At center, the 6'9" junior from Angers, France, number 15, Cameron Gay. At forward, the 6'4" junior from Denmark, Tennessee, number 21, Terrell Smith. And at guard, the 6' redshirt freshman from Woodfield, Alabama, number 22, Peyton Stonewall. Your Bulldogs are being coached by David Niven. Let's go, Bulldogs!
So correction there, that was not Josh Simmons. That was indeed our good friend Danny Y on the PA system there, giving the starting lineups. An unusual winter night here in Jackson, Tennessee. A little bit white outside with some snow. I believe that has led to not a ton of people showing up to tonight's game, but should have a great game here at the Fred DeLay Gym. If you're watching us at home, welcome in. Logan Whaley, Alexander Bitterling, giving you the call here on E+ TV6 and live on YouTube at Worthy Road Studios. So the starting 5 again, just to reiterate, you've got Wright, Williams, Powell, Rogan, and Stevens for the Phoenix of Cumberland. And for the Bulldogs, it's Hawkins, Boykin, Gay, Smith, and Stovall. Starting 5 for both of these two teams, Cumberland 5-0, Union 2-0. We'll see Gay and Powell, 6'10" versus 6'8", going to tip things off here for both of these teams. Referee getting things under control here. We're all ready for basketball. And the tip is controlled by the Phoenix, and we're underway here in Jackson, Tennessee. You've got the 6'1" junior guard Kareem Wright with it. Launching from 3 is Williams, and early on, the 3 is good by Jason Williams. We'll see how Union responds on the offensive side. Boykin driving the glass, no good. Gay with a follow-up, no good as well. So early on, Alexander, you see Ty Boykin attacking the basket. You see that more aggressive side of him in this game. Foul called here. This will be on Gay. That'll be his first. So early on, first foul, and we're going to see our first look at LaDonte Hicks-Gentry. And first they're going to make him tuck in his jersey before he subs in. I actually don't know what the holdup is here. They're going to set the shot clock at 24 seconds. That was the issue, but Samori Gay, the junior forward, not necessarily the strongest start to the game for him. So we're going to see Hicks-Gentry, and immediately here's a turnover. Boykin left side 3, missed it right, but Hawkins will secure the offensive rebound, and the Bulldogs will have a fresh 30. You know, it's one of the rule changes in the NBA that people are considering, as Smith will take a deep 3 that is short. Hicks-Gentry fighting for the rebound, goes up strong, and the Bulldogs are on the board. One of the big rule changes in the NBA, talking about changing the shot clock to 14 seconds when a team gets an offensive rebound instead of getting the fresh 24. It's an interesting change, and I wonder if it's changed in the NBA. I wonder if we'll see it in college basketball. A nice move. The left hook is good by Tyshawn Powell, and Alexander Powell is going to have to play a key role for the Phoenix here today.
Absolutely, and Logan, we've already seen the Union defense maybe not showing up. We saw the bench screaming for them to put their hands up and get on D.
Defense will have to be a focal point for the Bulldogs as Hawkins will get charged with the foul here. Got him with 2 hands. 2 early fouls for the Bulldogs in the first 2 minutes of this game. And we'll see our first look at Tevin Florent. Florent did not play in his first game against Spring Hill, in which the Bulldogs won that one 105-79. Did play in his last game against Lemoyne Owen. Only got 7 minutes in that game. So at one point last year, he won the Gulf South Conference Freshman of the Week 5 times, but his role has decreased a little bit. So curious to see how the young sophomore will respond here. 2 to shoot. Powell will force up a 3 that almost goes in, but on the cleanup is Stevens. He can't finish, but the Phoenix will have a fresh 30. They're going to get Stovall with the block there. They'll say he wasn't set in time. So once again, another foul on the Bulldogs. Alexander, we've seen this from time to time with this Bulldog defense. Not really showing up with the intensity. What do you think needs to change?
Yeah, I think they maybe could have come into this a little overconfident. Like we talked about earlier, this is still a game that matters. It's still a game that counts, even though it's early on. And it's not a Gulf South Conference play game. It's still an important game to get those last tweaks in before the season actually does begin.
And a nice trap there by the defense. It's going to be Boykin lobbing it up to Smith. A nice dish to Florent. And head coach Jeremy Lewis wants a timeout, and we'll take one with him. Back and forth start here at the Fred DeLay Gym. The Bulldogs take their first lead of the game, and we'll be right back.
My name is Ray Wilkins. I'm a 1995 Union grad, and I'm currently at Lebanon Baptist Church in Frisco, Texas, as the senior pastor. Union had a major impact on my life. I was a new convert at the time, and so Union provided me with a Christian environment where I could be discipled, where I could grow and nurture my faith. And then because I was a Christian studies major, the faculty at the time, Dr. George Guthrie, Dr. Paul Jackson, Dr. Kelvin Moore, were critical in teaching me how to understand and how to exegete the scriptures and how to apply it to my life. And that's my Union story.
Back on the campus at Union University, where the host Bulldogs have a 6-5 lead early on against the Phoenix of Cumberland. So Union out of the timeout, applying some token pressure here. But the Phoenix get it across the court. Bulldogs almost had the trap there. Inside to Stevens, he'll work against Florent. But no, they'll back it out. Spin against Hicks Gentry. The lefty finish is good for Tyshawn Powell. Powell with 4 quick points. Stovall tried to force it inside to Hicks Gentry, but it's denied by Stevens, and the Phoenix will take it the other way. So there you have it, Alexander. The Bulldogs have struggled with turning the ball over this season, and we see it again there. The deep 3 is good by Jason Williams. The 5'11" junior guard from Detroit, Michigan. Had 9 points in his last game against Oakwood. Stovall with a counter. Bang. Stovall, the transfer from UNA, the redshirt freshman, making his 3rd start on the season, having to play a huge role, taking over for Casey Goodwin. Goodwin, the experienced point guard for the Bulldogs last season. Now Stovall, the young freshman, going to have to really be the facilitator of this Bulldogs offense. Bulldogs working it around the perimeter. And it'll go out of bounds. We'll stay with the Bulldogs. They're going to have to reset the shot clock again to around 11 seconds. And we'll get our first look at Bryson Butler and J.C. Clausey. Butler And, well, we'll get into that a little bit later as we'll have our first media timeout. Back and forth action here at the Fred DeLay Gym. 10-9 the score.
Want to make your life a little easier? Now you can manage your Jackson Energy Authority account online. View statements, pay your bill, set up reminders, or recurring payments. Spend more time with your family, not your bills. It's easy. Just visit www.jaxenergy.com anytime and sign up. Make your life a little easier with online bill pay from Jackson Energy Authority.
And there you get a look at the Union cheerleaders and some brave souls behind them who have braved the cold weather to come out to support their Bulldogs. So Alexander, an early start, and Cumberland really hanging in there with the Bulldogs early on. What has been the key to their success?
They've really just been jumping in there on rebounds, both defensively and offensively. We've seen Union miss multiple layups already in the first 5 minutes of the game, but they've really just jumped on those rebounds and got the ball, got it back down the court, and made those opportunities they've had.
Really limiting Union in the second chance opportunities. There was one possession where the Bulldogs got a few offensive rebounds there, but ultimately could not capitalize. Union 4 of 9 to start off the game early. Cumberland at 4 of 7. Bulldogs have forced 2 turnovers, and it will be Union basketball out of the media timeout. Bryson Butler, as we mentioned before the break, the junior guard out of Chicago, Illinois. He'll have it here. He'll bounce it to Boykin, who launches from deep, missing it. Florent fights for the rebound and gets rejected by Kareem Wright. So it'll be the Phoenix the other way, and it'll be Jason Williams to set things up. Williams pulls up, missing. Boykin a little shaken up on the play. And this is not a good sign if you're a Bulldog fan. Looked like he got a little tripped up on the play. It was a ball screen. Could be an ankle injury, a knee injury. Trainer's checking him out right now, but it'll be Phoenix basketball here on the side. It'll be Wright against Butler. And we'll get our first look at the freshman, Ty Parks. Parks, the prized prospect from Pocahontas, Tennessee. Went to Middleton High School, a storied program there. And the strong finish by Tyshawn Powell. And Alexander, you got to be impressed with what you've seen from Powell here tonight. Clausey with it left side. We'll get it inside to Florent. 11 to shoot. Butler, a nice pump fake, and oh my goodness! Butler with authority over the 6'6" Isaac Stevens. Butler splitting 2 defenders now, kicks it out to Clausey. And it's no good. But we'll have a foul underneath. It'll be Bulldog basketball. And Alexander, I don't even know what I just saw. I mean, run through that play for me.
Well, you really just saw him drive in there and then extreme aggression there as he just jumped and dunked all over that center.
Used the pump fake to drive to the basket. Let me tell you, Bryson Butler, only 6'2", but he has hops. And more issues with the shot clock here. So a little bit of stoppage in action here. But again, Cumberland playing Union very close here. And we'll see if Butler's jam will be used to catapult the Bulldogs here, give them some momentum. They called a foul underneath, but we'll see what the call is. They're going to call it on Powell. That'll be his first, the team's first. They're going to get the shot clock to 28 seconds. Inside to Hicks Gentry, he can't finish, but it'll stay with the Bulldogs after it goes out of bounds. Hicks Gentry, the 6'7" junior forward out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, comes in at 240 pounds. Tried to force it inside there, but it's a turnover. Now the other way, Deontay Walters, the senior guard, gives it up to Rogan, and there are the first 3 points from Andrew Rogan, the team's leading scorer. Had 27 points in his last outing against Oakwood. Around the perimeter, here's Parks. And the Bulldogs will set it up again. Hicks Gentry from the right elbow. Off the back iron, good. Ladante Hicks Gentry is now with 6 points. Good defense there. Butler skies for the rebound. And loses the handle, and this is going to be a two-handed flush by Tyshawn Powell. Alexander, we've said Powell's name a lot here. He's been active on both sides of the basketball here. Parks working, and it gets his pocket picked by Rogan. Rogan against Parks. Long on the finish, but Parks will get the rebound, and he'll get hacked by Stevens. That'll be his first. Ty Parks, the young freshman from Middleton, and we're going to see a new look here for the Bulldogs as Hawkins, Gay, and Stovall will check back in. So the second rotation for the Bulldogs providing a spark. Saw the big jam from Bryson Butler. Now we'll see what the starters can do here. Smith driving, and he'll flush it home. That's one thing about these Bulldogs we've seen, Alexander, early on, just pure athleticism.
Absolutely, but unfortunately that's not converted over to keeping the ball. We've seen a lot of turnovers this game and past games as well.
Powell might have gotten away with a travel there, but no good, and it'll be Butler with the rebound. You know, the Bulldogs wanting to run a little bit. To Gay inside, and no good, he'll get fouled. That'll be on Rogan, that'll be his first. And we'll have our second media timeout, a back and forth affair here at the Fred DeLay Gym. The 5-0 Cumberland Phoenix up 2 on the Bulldogs. We'll be right back after these quick messages.
Community leaders are talking about Steve Beverly's TV classics, but are they serious? Do they like classic TV? Do they really watch?
That's a lot of questions in one sentence, Steve.
What do they think about the host?
I don't have any clear answers to that.
What usually happens if you watch TV classics?
A very entertaining evening for people.
Watch TV Classics Saturday and Sunday at 7 on TV6.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well, as we previewed in our first broadcast of the year, Union, despite playing an NAIA opponent, still a rivalry game, and you can always expect rivalry games to be close in some sense of the word. But Alexander, Union has had their moments. They've had their ups. They've also had their downs where they've been a little bit sloppy with the basketball. Talk about how they've been playing here in the first 9 minutes or so of play.
Well, just as we've seen, like you said, there have been multiple turnovers. They've had trouble down near the basket with the layups, missing a bunch of those. But then they've also had big moments like Butler's slam over there a couple minutes ago. So they've just been really back and forth, like you said. Hopefully for them, they can turn it over and keep playing better basketball.
Absolutely. And if you look at the turnover columns, it's Union with 3 turnovers and Cumberland with 2. And we'll get our first word from Daniel Potts, Union sideline reporter for tonight, as Samori Gay will go to the line to shoot 2. And Daniel, what did Coach Niven have to say to his guys in that huddle?
Well, they're dealing with a frustrating injury for 11. He was a bit shaken up after that play, but as far as their play on the court, he's very satisfied with their aggression on offense, but was begging for his team to match that aggression on the defensive side of the ball.
Now, Daniel, before you go real quick, any word or any update on Ty Boykin?
Whether or not he'll be back in the game is unsure at this moment, but he does seem to be better now and can stand on his own.
Well, that's a good sign to hear for Bulldog fans. Thank you, Daniel. And Bryson Butler, 0 for 2 there from the line was Gay, but Butler with the offensive rebound and the putback. Close to a 10-second call there. Working it around are the Phoenix as Coach Niven arguing his case for a 10-second backcourt violation, 4 to shoot. It'll have to be Powell rising up against Gay, no good, going to be a shot clock violation, and that is exactly what the Bulldogs needed, a solid defensive possession. And Alexander, it really started with the pressure, the full court pressure.
Yeah, it really did. They came right out from the huddle, like we heard from Daniel. He said to get better and match the aggression on defense that they were seeing on offense, and I think they really showed that there with the press and all the way down through the shot clock violation.
So now we'll see if Union can turn defense into offense. Union working it around. Smith, quick to getting to the basket, but will have to force it out. Good ball movement by the Bulldogs, leads to a Hawkins 3. J.C. Hawkins ready to shoot, nails his first 3 of the season, and the Bulldogs are back in front by 3. In the middle, tried to force it inside with Stevens. Active hands by Butler. He has the steal. It's the Bulldogs the other way. Nice ball movement. Hawkins to Gay. And Union with their biggest lead up by 5. A beautiful dish from Stovall. And there's a block there. And it's still loose, but it'll be Cumberland basketball. Everyone's snowbirding there, looking for an easy basket. But here's another turnover. Stovall again. Attacking the basket. Nice spin move off the glass. Good. And Coach Lewis will take a timeout as the fans, though they are small in attendance, still coming to their feet, coming alive for their Bulldogs. Union up 7 here at the Fred.
Propane, 95% generated in the U.S., is a gas that works anywhere. Central tanks for fleets, vehicles. Portable tanks for forklifts, lawnmowers. The fuel you can take anywhere. Even backup generation runs off propane. Household appliances, outdoor features. To find out more about affordable, clean, versatile propane, contact JEA's ProGas, 422-7500. The alternative fuel that makes sense. Propane, part of JEA today.
There you see Coach Dave Niven coaching his team. Just went on a pretty good run there, on an 11-0 run in the past 3 minutes. And Alexander, it really started with a stop.
It really did. We've been talking a lot about the defense struggling in the first part of this game, but they've really come alive here. Like you said, 11-0 run. Their defense has been phenomenal here in the last minute or so, and they're really just coming on the court.
So the 5 on the court for the Phoenix. We've got Deontay Walters, the senior from Cincinnati. In our first look at Trenard Chester, the 6'5 senior guard out of Lexington, Kentucky, the transfer from Urbana University. And then you've got Shamari Denson, the senior guard out of Kansas City, Missouri, and Andrew Rogan. And the Phoenix beat the press, but an errant pass, good hustle there by Smith, and it'll be the Bulldogs again. So the Phoenix can't get anything going on the offensive end. Active hands on the defensive side by the Bulldogs. 9.5 to play here in the first half. Union looking to extend their 7-point lead. Gay with a spin, tough shot, but it's good. So Maury Gay with a right-handed kiss off the glass. Rogan against Smith. Now top of the key, the 3 by Walters. Straight away, nothing but the bottom of the net. That is exactly what the Phoenix needed. Now the other way, the Bulldogs, and that's going to be a hand check there as Butler looking for the NBA continuation foul there. Just will throw it up, but Walters will be on the hook with his first foul, team's 4th. 9 to play here in this first half. Really balanced scoring from the Bulldogs all around. 6 from Hicks Gentry, 4 from Gay and Smith, 5 from Stovall, 3 from Hawkins. Butler no good, it rattles off, and the rebound will go to the Phoenix. That is Shamari Denson with the ball. Against Stovall is Walters, pulling up, missing it short.
A bad shot there by Cumberland. You heard Coach Niven saying he's got 2 fouls, meaning he'll probably opt to drive the ball inside here. Butler again, pump fake, step back, and good defense there by Walters, despite the smooth moves from Butler. And Samori Gay traveling there, and on cue here is LaDante Hicks-Gentry to check in. So Cumberland looking to build off of that 3 by Walters. They're one of their last 6 from the field. Top of the key. Cumberland still working it around the perimeter, now looking to get it inside. Chester from just inside the line, missing it short. Hicks-Gentry with a board. Now the Bulldogs will have immediate timeout, next dead ball. Butler was looking to get it to Hawkins, now he'll just take it himself. Splits the defenders, circus layup, missed it. But Bryson Butler will go to the line to shoot 2, and Alexander Butler's really lived at the free throw line this season, hasn't he?
He has. He's done really well. He's missed very few of them as we've seen, but he's had a lot of opportunities. I believe he's 22 for 27.
Yep. Yeah, I believe so. 22 of 27 from the foul line. And we'll take a media timeout. He'll shoot 2 when we come back.
I'm Logan Whaley. West Tennessee This Week is your weekend look at the top stories that are affecting your life. Whether it's the new direction for public schools in Jackson, a growing economy in our part of the state, the controversy over a new jail, or the men and women who work to keep our community safe, West Tennessee This Week will cover all the stories. When leaders make decisions to affect your life, we'll be there. Join us for West Tennessee This Week, Saturday nights at 10 and Sunday mornings at 10 on NBC 39.
(26-20) the score. The Bulldogs holding the 6-point lead over Cumberland, and you've got Bryson Butler going to the line to shoot 2. And Alexander, it's good to see Butler attacking the basket, and he's going to be rewarded here.
Yes, and he's done really well coming alive. We've seen Boykin still out from his injury earlier in the game. We're not sure about the details of that, but he is still on the bench. So Butler really has come alive and in a way filled that spot that we're used to seeing Boykin fill.
And we'll see if Boykin will come back. As you see there, still walking a bit gingerly. And actually, looks like we'll see him check in here. So a good sign for Bulldogs fans as we got the reigning Gulf South Conference Player of the Week after scoring 48 points against Spring Hill and 29 against Lemoyne Owen. So you got Butler at the line to shoot 2. Tickles the twine on the first one. Butler 2 for 2 at the foul line, and we'll see Boykin check in. And the thing about Butler, the 6'2" guard, did not play last season. He transferred from Kishwaukee Community College from the Chicago area. Bulldogs applying token pressure, but the Phoenix beat it. Looking for a 3 there was Rogan, but instead the Phoenix will back out. Nice drive by Chester, but a good job by Taranda Smith stepping in and drawing the charge, and it will be Bulldog basketball. And really a nice play there by Smith, recognizing that Chester was going to drive. Chester lowered the shoulder. Smith was at the right place at the right time, so to speak. And a stop in the action here is it'll be Andrew Rogan tying his shoes. So we know shoes are an important part to the game of basketball. And specifically what type of shoe. I think that's the big argument that everyone goes for these days. Hawkins straight away. Long. Smith, a good effort going for the rebound, but it's secured by Williams. Williams had a spark early on in the game as Denson will get called with the travel. But we've seen Jason Williams aggressive early in the game, but since then he hasn't really shown up. I would venture to say that Cumberland needs him if they want to stay in this game. Boykin on the drive, left-handed finish, strong, but almost too strong there. Sits off the glass, no good. Right against Boykin, and he'll draw the foul on Boykin. That'll be his first. That was a good move there by Wright. The hesitation got Boykin off balance, and Boykin with a two-hand foul there. Williams off the inbound pass, no good, but the putback is good by Powell. A rim rattler, if you will, as you see the goal still shaking. An emphatic putback by Tyshawn Powell. Give him 10. Now the Bulldogs look to answer. A nice cut by Boykin. Goes up, and it's swatted by Powell. Alexander, we've really seen Powell everywhere on the court for the Phoenix.
He's been very busy so far in this first half, and I think that's a good sign for the Phoenixes. I think they need that to continue to stay in this ball game.
And the Bulldogs off the inbound. You see Clausey with it. Boykin a quick three, missing it. Boykin has struggled here today. 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 3 from long range. On the drive is Williams, and he will lay it in uncontested. And the Phoenix have cut it to 4. So it's the usual suspects, if you will. It's Williams, it's Powell. Keep in mind, Alexander, even though this is an NAIA team, this is a team that has scrimmaged 2 Division I, and now Union, the Division II team they're scrimmaging. Boykin looking to get going. Can't get the shooter's roll. Powell with the rebound. This is a team that has scrimmaged UT Martin, and just last night coming off of a scrimmage at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. And we'll see if Coach Niven wants to burn a timeout after the layup was good by Powell. Excuse me, I believe that was Denson, rather. No. I'm wrong again. It was Wright. Union ends their scoreless drought, 2.5 minutes worth, as Hicks Gentry will lay it in. The Bulldogs regain the 4-point lead. Easy layup by Powell. I think Coach Niven wanted to travel there by Powell. Boykin, a nice, again, beautiful ball movement, but Smith way too strong on the three. And Boykin, let me tell you, if he can't get it going offensively, he'll try his best to get it going defensively. He does a good job there drawing the charge. That foul will put Union in the bonus, but this was a player control foul, so Boykin will not go to the line. So we've seen Cumberland make a run here, Alexander. What does Union need to do here offensively in order to get back on track?
They've missed a lot from behind the 3 line. We've seen that. I think they've missed 2 or 3 in the last couple minutes here. So I think they need to either keep driving in, because that's where they were having success, or at least buckle down and score more from behind the 3-point line.
Union 2 of 10 from downtown. It's stripped, and the steal there by Rogan. This is a Cumberland team that does force a lot of turnovers. In fact, if you look at it, they average 10 steals a game. Or excuse me, 12 steals a game. Even better. Butler will get called with a foul. That'll be his first, team's 5th. It'll be Cumberland basketball. The Phoenix making a run here at the Fred DeLay Gym.
Steve Beverly's TV classics can cure what ails you.
I watched and it got rid of my hemorrhoids.
Staying awake at night? Just watch TV classics.
My daughter watched and she went right to sleep.
Do not watch Steve Beverly's TV Classics if fights upset your stomach. Do not watch if high drama leads to emotional distress. And do not turn on TV6 Saturday or Sunday at 7 if hillbillies give you a gallbladder attack.
Ask your doctor if Steve Beverly's Classics is right for you.
Back here at the Fred DeLay Gym. And Alexander, what are you doing Saturday and Sunday from 7 to 10?
Saturday and Sunday from 7 to 10.
Let me tell you what I'm going to be doing.
Well, tell me what you're going to do, Logan.
I'm going to be watching Steve Beverly's TV Classics. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Well, of course you are. You mind if I join you there watching that?
Absolutely. So there you have it, a watch party set up here, and a party it is here at the Fred DeLay Gym as the pep band playing. Had a whole bunch of people here, but they've made their presence felt. The Bulldogs up 30-28, and Union Alexander cold offensively. One of their last 8 from the field, one of their last 7 from 3. And before we get your thoughts on that, we'll have Daniel Potts joining us. And Daniel, we've seen Cumberland make a run here. What did Coach Niven have to say to his guys to calm them down?
Well, we've seen that the Bulldogs have the ability to control the tempo of this game, but as you said, they've allowed Cumberland to slowly climb back in. Coach basically just reassured his team that if they play disciplined basketball, that they can regain control of this game and finish the half strongly.
A deep 3 by Denson rims out. That would have given Cumberland the lead. Daniel Potts with a good report there. So Alexander again, a miss here. Union needing to capitalize in the worst way. Where do you go?
Well, they definitely need to drive into the basket. That's where they've been hot tonight. As we mentioned already, the three-point line has been a little off.
And Butler forcing it up there, no good. That was a strong move by Bryson Butler. And almost a charge there. For me, it looked like lowered the shoulder. You saw the defender really just get thrown back by it. And that's impressive strength, but it's also, in most rule books, a charge. Either way, Butler will go to the line to shoot 2 more. Make him 3 for 3 on the night. And we'll see Deontay Walters, senior guard, checking in for Kareem Wright. And I think this is just in the basketball Bible, if you will. If you have the name Kareem, you're going to be a pretty decent basketball player.
Absolutely.
2 for 2 at the line is Butler.
And that'll push Butler to 25 for 30.
Out of bounds. Bryson Butler missed the second one. I thought it went in. Looked like he had the trajectory. I turned away for a second. Just assumed he made it. That's what I get for assuming. Either way, 1 possession game here. It'll be Phoenix basketball. Williams working against Boykin. A tough shot there. And Hawkins will secure it. A tough shot. Right there, spin move, jumper from the elbow. Stovall almost threw it away there. We'll have Butler on the left wing. Working it inside to Gay. Boykin right corner 3. And Tyree Boykin finally on the board. He was 0 for 6 from the field. Finally gets his first 3 to go. And sometimes Alexander, all a shooter needs is just to see one go through. Butler, almost a strong rebound there. Perhaps need to check the air pressure on that basketball. That one nearly hit the rafters. Out of bounds, and the Bulldogs will turn it back over. So in the final 2 minutes here of this first half, Alexander, what do you expect to see from these two teams?
Well, we've seen Boykin come alive in the last few minutes. I think he's going to continue that and finish this half really strong.
And for Cumberland, you got to keep on feeding Tyshawn Powell, right?
Absolutely.
Deep 3 from Rogan. Off the back iron, and Stovall will secure the rebound. Phoenix applying pressure. Wide open jump shot from Butler, missing it short. Good job by Butler to follow his shot. It leads to an easy layup from J.C. Hawkins. And 6 seconds into the shot clock on the other end. It'll be Samori Gay picking up his second. And And Niven with the quick hook. He'll get Medante Hicks-Gentry back in the game. And we will see Chenard Chester check in for Cumberland, coming in for Andrew Rogan. Rogan, uncharacteristic of him to be quiet in the first half. Only 3 points from the team's leading scorer, averaging 17 a game. Rogan, the transfer from Bethel, another NAIA school, and a school that Union fans are very familiar with. Chester, off the ball screen, will feed it to Denson, and Denson buries the three from deep on the left side. That'll be his first basket of the game. Now Boykin. Going under the screen was Denson, but Boykin buries the three in his face. A fadeaway three. That was a deep shot, contested. Somehow, some way, Tyree Boykin finds a way to get that ball to go through the basket. A nice fake there by Walters, but missing it left. So Union could go 2 for 1 here, 40 seconds. Boykin will take another three, bang!
Logan, he's knocked down his last three that he's taken from beyond the line.
To take a line from basketball broadcaster great Dick Vitale, he's in fuego. The answer no good, and the Bulldogs will have the final shot of the first half should they elect to take it. And the Bulldogs will take a timeout. And we'll keep it here, 17 seconds. That's been the usual for Coach Niven, to want to get a timeout to get one last play together. Alexander, we've seen Boykin hit his last 3 threes. Do we see him take another one before the end of this half?
Well, he's made the last 3, so he is very high. I would not see that as a surprise from Coach Niven here. But Union is now up 11 points as we see. Boykin's been a huge part of that. He's contributed 9 in the last few minutes.
Union on a 6-0 run. They've hit 4 of their last 5 from the field, 3 of their last 4 from 3. Tyree Boykin on a personal run himself. All 4 of those shots taken by the young sophomore. And, you know, just from those 3 shots, you see how electric he is. And, you know, he really is a microwave out there. He can get going at any time and can get hot at any time. So it'll be Bulldog ball with 17 seconds to go. And another thing to keep in mind, Union is in the bonus. So perhaps you could see Boykin drive the basket here, try to get 2 free throws before Union goes into the locker room. So it'll be Hawkins set to inbound. And they'll set it back court with Butler. He'll walk it up the court. So we'll see a screen set by Hicks-Gentry. He's going to kick it out to that is Boykin, no good. Stovall, a good job there, right place, right time. He'll get fouled and we'll go to the line to shoot 1 and the bonus. Cat got my tongue there. Sometimes it's hard to tell between Butler, Boykin, Butler. Both players are going to make an impact on this Bulldog team this year. So Stovall will go to the line to shoot 2. Good on the first, make him 6 of 6 on the season. We'll have West Tennessee Today evening news at halftime here. 2 for 2 at the line is Stovall. Give him 7 points. The deep 3 is no good, just missed it short. And at the end of the first half, Union leads the Cumberland Phoenix 44-31. And a good first half it was for the Bulldogs. Really turned it on late, closing the first half on an 8-0 run, holding Cumberland scoreless over their final 2 minutes. So a quick rundown of the stats here. You got Boykin with 9, Stovall with 7, Hicks-Gentry with 8. Then you got Gay and Smith with 4 and Florent with 2. And for Cumberland, you got Powell leading the way with 12 and Williams with 8. So there you have it. The first half, Union with a 44-31 lead over the Cumberland Phoenix. A tune-up game for the Bulldogs as they prepare for conference play coming up soon Then they travel to Valdosta State and West Florida. So there you have it. That's our first half. And now we're going to toss it to West Tennessee Today this week. Excuse me, West Tennessee This Week evening news. And when we come back, Alexander and I will break down the halftime stats for you. So don't go anywhere. But right now, after a quick commercial break, we'll have West Tennessee This Week.
I first came to Union, it was already like March or April of my senior year, and I hadn't decided where I wanted to go. I was looking at big Christian schools, small Christian schools, even state schools. I didn't want a Christian school that would just hide me away from the world and like just teach me to live within a Christian environment that hasn't shielded me from secular beliefs or opinions or ideas, but it's taught me how to think about it through Christian lenses. There's so many things I love about Union. One of them is definitely the professors. They have all taken such a personal interest in my growth, and they have all been very, very dedicated to helping me grow both as a Christian and as a student. If I had to sum it up in one word, I would definitely say opportunity. It's given me so many chances to be a leader in different clubs and organizations. It's given me the chance to expand professionally, to build my portfolio. It's given me a chance to pursue my own interests and passions, and it's just been an extremely encouraging and empowering environment.
Community leaders are talking about Steve Beverly's TV classics, but are they serious? Do they like classic TV? Do they really watch?
That's a lot of questions in one sentence, Steve.
What do they think about the host?
I don't have any clear answers to that.
What usually happens if you watch TV classics?
A very entertaining evening for people.
Watch TV Classics Saturday and Sunday at 7 on TV6.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Gig, 1,000 megabit speed, now available to any E+ broadband internet customer. This gig enhanced infrastructure has the capacity to increase speeds in the future. E+ broadband, what many interpreted as JA's entrance into cable television, was actually the foundation of an unparalleled communications infrastructure. Looking out for Jackson's economic and lifestyle future is all a part of JEA Today.
Hello, I'm Madeline Fleming. In news across West Tennessee today, we are under a winter weather advisory. We do expect a mix of rain and snow during the afternoon hours, and that will likely change to snow tonight. Every county in West Tennessee is under the advisory. This went into effect at 6 o'clock this morning. It continues until noon Thursday. We expect somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 inches in the Jackson area. In Northwest Tennessee, that could increase to 2 to 4 inches. Our senior forecaster, Steve Beverly, has been keeping watch on this ever since Monday when the models began showing snow. He's standing by at the weather board with more details. Steve, how serious do you think this is going to be?
Well, Madeline, this was not supposed to happen, but as Eddie Holmes informed a number of us at West Tennessee Weather Online, we did have a light dusting of snow before Thanksgiving in 2014. Wasn't much of anything, but we did have some. But we think it's going to be a little bit more. Let me run down everything for you. We're going to have snow mixed with some freezing drizzle and sleet at different times between now and early tomorrow morning. Now, don't get all up in arms about this or thinking we're going to shut the town down. Total snow accumulations, this is all across West Tennessee, up to 2 inches. There will be some spots in Northwest Tennessee that we are looking at possibly maybe 3 inches in that case. It's going to be, our winter weather advisory is covering all counties in West Tennessee, including Madison, Gibson, Crockett, all of them. Now, it's going to continue until noon on Thursday. Now, eventually, all these clouds are going to get out of the way. We're going to have a really nice weekend. But you can plan on some difficult travel conditions tonight and on Thursday morning, depending on where you go on the I-40 corridor. But this is our winter weather advisory map. That is not going to change. And in fact, we have already begun to see some wintry mix occur throughout the West Tennessee region. Now, let me show you the snow forecast in detail. This is where, you get into Northwest Tennessee and Northeast Arkansas, this is where a lot of it is going to be, up around Parrish, Union City, all those areas, about 2 to 3 inches. I hate to burst everybody's bubble because I heard some people say last night, well, Eddie Holmes said we were going to have between 1 and 4 inches. Calm down, everybody. The prediction here in Jackson is between 0 and 1 inches. We're thinking it's going to be somewhere around maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. That's not going to be enough to shut the town down. I'm not going to tell you schools will or won't be closed because sometimes it depends on the conditions of the school buses being able to navigate some of those circular roads out in the rural areas. But all the way up the I-40 corridor, that's going to be the least amount of snow that we're going to probably see. Maximum about 1 inch in the Jackson area. If we get more, okay, you can blame me for that afterward. But just be prepared. I know the bread and milk lines at all the grocery stores, they're probably filling up. This is probably not going to be as bad as a lot of people, particularly students, hope for. Nonetheless, Madeline, I think that we'll be on tap and we'll be here in case there are any new advisories.
Thank you, Steve. The big question now for many children and college students is whether school will be closed Thursday. As of 1 o'clock this afternoon, we've had no reports of any closings, but that could change as the day develops. Ray Washington of the Jackson-Madison County School District said any decisions will be made based on the safety of bus transportation. Washington said boilers in a number of older schools were fired up this week well ahead of normal. Because of the weather conditions, after-school activities have been canceled today in Jackson-Madison County schools. If we learn of new closings, we'll post them at West Tennessee Today on Facebook. What now? That's what a number of people are asking after Jackson City Council voted to table a decision on building 2 new schools until December. Madison County Commissioners overwhelmingly approved the plan Monday night, but City Council members said they still had to plow through information on the proposal before a vote. At Tuesday's Education Vision Committee meeting, School Board member Morris Merriweather said he still didn't have answers to key questions about the plan. Fellow board member Shannon Stewart told Merriweather he needed to be calling members of the Community Redevelopment Agency, which is overseeing the plan.
Here we are in the 9th hour. County Commission has voted, City Council postponed it. And we have this kind of question going around, and at the table we have board members, we have county commissioners, we have contractors, finance people, and we sit here on the 9th hour about to construct millions of dollars worth of school. Nobody can answer the question. We're saying, if so-and-so was here. It sounds like we got more, we just got 1 or 2 people that know what's going on in a city as large as Jackson.
I mean, I have enough information. I voted for it the other night at our meeting. So did all these county commissioners.
The thing is, the plan is to build a new Jackson Central Mary Middle and High School. The county would put up the funding for that. The city would finance a new Madison Academic High on the campus of the University of Memphis-Lambeth. If the city does not approve the plan in December, it will not go forward. Superintendent Jones was asked if he has a contingency plan.
Always have considered a contingency plan, but we're still hopeful about that. We hit a little snag, but still hopeful that that could possibly happen. But if not, we absolutely will start looking at Plan B, C, and D.
A West Tennessee high school band director now faces sexual misconduct charges in a second county. 40-year-old John Scruggs turned himself in to the Crockett County authorities Tuesday. He already faces a preliminary hearing on similar charges in Gibson County. Scruggs is accused of inappropriate sexual misconduct with an underage student. That includes multiple counts of statutory rape and sexual battery. He was arrested in Gibson County on sexual battery charges in September. The Crockett County charges are said to have occurred between January and March of last year. The victim was a 15-year-old who was babysitting at the Scruggs home in January of 2017. His preliminary hearing in Trenton will be in December. Friends and colleagues are mourning the loss of Jackson businessman Jonathan Harlan. Monday night, Harlan died at the age of 55 after fighting a series of health problems. Harlan founded Aeneas Internet and Telephone in 1995 in the early days of online service in Jackson. He served 8 years on the Madison County Commission and was a pioneer in downtown renovation. His memorial service will be Sunday afternoon at 2 at St. Luke's Episcopal Church. Visitation begins at 1 o'clock. He is survived by his wife and 4 children, along with his mother. The last 2 weeks have brought a threat of tornadoes and an approaching winter storm to West Tennessee. When those things happen, emergency management personnel spring into action. The 7th Annual Tennessee Emergency Preparedness Summit is underway at Union University. The 2-day conference draws about 250 people from across the state, including firefighters, law enforcement, public health workers, and first responders. He's detailing the response after the October 2017 shooting at a music festival that left 58 people dead, including a former Union University nursing student.
Not everybody's ever going to have that active shooter event in a school or the Las Vegas thing, but if you do, you want to know what others have done and what worked, what didn't work, what needed to be worked on later. It's the same thing like with tornadoes. Not everybody's going to have a tornado. You're not going to have a tornado every year, but when you have one, you want to learn from what works, what didn't work.
The conference continues through tomorrow at Union's Carl Grant Events Center. And that's our look at news across West Tennessee. I'm Madeline Fleming. Remember, stay with West Tennessee Today on Facebook for more details on winter weather and on possible school closings. Wherever you go, we hope you have a great day in West Tennessee today.
First half of play in the books. It's the Bulldogs of Union University with a 44-31 lead over the Cumberland Phoenix of the NAIA. Logan Whaley, Alexander Bitterling with you. And Alexander, just talk about what you saw from both teams there in that first half, starting with Cumberland. They started off hot, but toward the end of the half, kind of cooled off from the field.
Yep, but from Cumberland, we've seen the main thing come from Powell. Powell's playing an amazing game. He's shooting 6 for 11. He's got four rebounds. He's got 12 points total. He's playing a great game. If it weren't for him, I think that Cumberland would be down by a lot more than they are. He's playing a great game. He's leading their team.
And Cumberland really attacked the basket there at the beginning of the game, and it worked out. But they kind of settled for that three-point shot later in the half. Maybe not some great looks. First shot in the shot clock, really the first good look they could find. But now shifting gears to Union and really balanced scoring all around, but it was a slow start for the Bulldogs in the first half, but they really came on strong there toward the end, ending on an 8-0 run.
Absolutely. We've seen Boykin and Butler bringing the energy, maybe not the points as much, maybe not some of the stats, because those have been pretty even throughout the Union team, but we've seen them leading the energy, kind of leading the charge as this team goes down and tries to win this game.
Let's go ahead and throw up our at the half stats, and it will start for Cumberland, and you see there 41% from the field, 42% from three. Here's a big stat. They have not attempted a free throw so far. Nothing of nothing. Good job by the Bulldogs defensively, playing aggressive but not too aggressive to foul. And there is one of the big keys in the game right there, the rebounding total. Union doubling up Cumberland in the rebounding column, 26-13. Union with 11 offensive rebounds and capitalizing for 10 second chance points. You see the turnovers even. 7 turnovers, 8 points off of turnovers for both teams. Well, there you have it. Those are our first half stats. And you look at the Bulldogs again, 49% from the field, 17 of 35, 5 of 13 from three, 39%. Tyree Boykin started the game 0 of 6. Now he's 3 of 10. So looking ahead now to the second half of play, and you've got Cumberland, a team that went away from shooting the ball inside the paint. It really worked out well for the first few minutes of the game. Bulldogs adjusted, but talk about the game plan for Cumberland. What will that game plan look like here in the second half if they want to get back in this game?
I think for them, they got to go with who's hot. We've seen Powell's hot, Williams is hot as well. So if they stick with those two, those are their main guys for scoring points so far. I think they got to stick with them, stay on the defense on the Bulldogs, and keep that defense tight.
Powell and Williams combining for 20 of the team's 31 points. And for the Bulldogs, so what do they need to do to keep this intensity up in order for the next 20 minutes to go their way?
I think they've got to keep sticking with Cumberland on defense. We saw that as an issue maybe the first part of the first half, and then they really tightened down on their defense, and that's what really propelled their offense to all those turnovers.
A little interesting to see winter gear in November, but here we are, a wintry night here in Jackson, Tennessee, where the Bulldogs are holding on to a 44-31 lead over the Cumberland Phoenix. And again, Logan Whaley, Alexander Bitterling bringing you the broadcast here on E-Plus TV6 and live on YouTube at Worthy Road Studios. Paul Scholze, Boss and Man, Steve Beverly, and our wonderful crew here at Worthy Road Studios. So second half of action coming your way here on TV6. And just want to remind everybody, our next broadcast will be December 8th. That's a Saturday. The Bulldogs will be hosting 2 different teams, actually. It'll be a doubleheader, so be sure to tune in. It should be a fun night of basketball. Fun night of basketball here at the Fred DeLay Gym. 44-31 the score, and we'll see the 5 for each team. We'll start with Cumberland going back to what's worked for them, and that has been their starting 5. You got Wright, Williams, Powell, Rogan, and Stevens. And honestly, look for Rogan to get more involved. This is a guy who has shot the ball extremely well in the season. 52% from the field, 50% from 3, 17 points per game. Now going back to the Bulldogs starting 5. You've got Hawkins, Boykin, Stovall, Gay, and Smith. It'll be Union basketball to start the second half of play. Boykin on the drive. He stopped. Gay straight away. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Samori Gay, not really somebody you'd expect to shoot a ton of threes. Only 1 of 2 from the season. 6'10" junior. Knocks down the straightaway 3. Williams, left side. This is Kareem Wright on the drive. And a foul there by Hawkins, and that's the right call. Got him with the body. And a little bit of a late call there, but in some cases it's better late than never. And the referee seeing that play develop right in front of him. He did get hacked. Now Wright will go to the line to shoot 2. Wright on the season has struggled from the charity stripe, only 7 of 15. But hits the first there. This Cumberland team, as we mentioned, shooting 63% from the foul line as a team. Not really great numbers you want to have there. Wright 2 for 2 at the line. The first 2 free throws of the game for Cumberland. So now here are the Bulldogs. Hawkins top of the key. Union will set up a play here. Gay having to pick up his dribble, gonna have to get rid of it. Almost a 5-second call. Smith will have to improvise here. Tough shot, gonna be short. Good defensive possession there from Cumberland. They get back on the offensive end, and a good job by Cumberland running in transition, leading to a wide open 3 from Jason Williams. Williams now in double figures with 11. Looking to get it inside to Gay is Smith, but he's stopped. Now Union a little bit sloppy with the basketball here, and it's going to be Phoenix basketball. So not the start you're hoping for if you're Coach Niven there. We'll see Wright taking it up the court. Switching the screen is Stovall and Hawkins. Wright looking to go up strong, can't finish. Battle for the rebound, and it'll ultimately be secured by Boykin. And good recovery there by the Phoenix. And now the Bulldogs will have to run a set here. Boykin with 10 to shoot will have to make something happen here. Forcing a 3, and it's good. 2 guys on him, doesn't matter. Tyree Boykin, 4 of his last 4, all from downtown. I'm running out of words to describe Tyree Boykin, Alexander. Just too good. On the other end, Powell, a tough shot, a strong finish. And the Union lead cut back to 11.
Already in this half, Logan, we've seen Powell and Williams continue to be a factor in this game.
Smith from the right side, missing it short. Smith having a tough time getting it going here today. Now 2 of 7 from the field. Oh, a swat by Gay. Might have hurt himself in the process, though. Other side here, Smith. Layup, good. And Gay a little bit shaken up on the play. And we're going to get an official going over to the scorer's table. I think they're going to talk about the Tyree Boykin 3 that was shot down here. Looked like a 3 to me. I believe the score should be 52-38. And I think the referees are... I think they decided that was a 2. Interesting. Poked by Smith, unable to get it though. And that will be a backcourt violation. A good call there by the official. That's one of the emphasis, one of the points of emphasis that the NCAA has really put in their game this year. Some people may say that that's not a backcourt violation because, yes, Smith did get a fingertip on it, but ultimately possession did not change. That was a good job by the Bulldog defense there, forcing that backcourt violation. .15 to shoot. Here's Boykin. Boykin on the drive. And that's going to be a charge. And I don't know about that. He was a little bit out of control, but either way, they're going to get Boykin with a charge, give him 2 fouls on the day. So here we go, another visit to the scorer's table. And they're going to say it is a 3 now. I think maybe a couple trips down the court, the referees realized that was obviously a 3. But again, they never ruled anything. So we'll see. Wright with it. Union playing active defense here, really playing aggressive man-to-man defense here. Powell against Gay, he definitely traveled, and that's an obvious call. Good defense by Samori Gay. And we'll have a media timeout here. Union stepping up on the defensive side of the basketball. We'll see if it leads to offense. 52-38 the score.
Community leaders are talking about Steve Beverly's TV classics, but are they serious? Do they like classic TV? Do they really watch?
That's a lot of questions in one sentence, Steve.
What do they think about the host?
I don't have any clear answers to that.
What usually happens if you watch TV classics?
A very entertaining evening for people.
Watch TV Classics Saturday and Sunday at 7 on TV6.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Take the advice from Dr. Joanne Stevenson. Steve Beverly's TV Classics airing on E+ TV6 Saturday and Sunday from 7 to 10. There you see Coach Dave Niven talking to his team in the huddle. And Union, Alexander getting off to a hot start, especially lately here in the second half.
Yep, their defense has been right on, which we've been talking about has been a key factor in this game. Getting those rebounds, like we saw in the first half, they had a lot of rebounds up on Cumberland, and that really contributed to a lot of points down the field.
Union out-rebounding Cumberland 28-15. It's honestly been one of the big stories in this game. Union shooting 50% from the field, 20 of 40, 44% from 3. Whereas Cumberland not doing too bad from the field, 46% from 3, 6 of 13, and 42% from the field. So Hawkins will inbound it to Stovall. And the Bulldogs, after forcing a turnover, we'll see the play here. Good defense there by Cumberland. Stovall on the drive. Left-handed finish is good for Peyton Stovall. And Stovall, first points in the second half, give him 9. And honestly, a pretty quiet 9 points from Stovall. Got hot early in the first half. Good to see him in the scoring column. Stovall, active hands there, poking the ball loose. Rogan will get fouled by Samori Gay. That'll be his 3rd. Or excuse me, they're going to call that on Hawkins. That'll be his 3rd. So it was a situation where he was bumped by Hawkins as he was going up. So Rogan will go to the line to shoot 2, his first attempts on the game. He's 10 of 22 this season, hits the first. Florent will check in for Hawkins. Again, one of the few returners from the Bulldogs. 10 new faces on this year's Union's team. 4 returners, 3 with significant playing time last season. As Rogan goes 2 for 2 at the charity stripe.
And I believe that makes the Cumberland team 4 for 4 from the free throw line this game.
And 4 for 4 this half. This is a team that only shoots the ball 63% from the line, and their Union's going to get called with a travel there, and so Union now starting to get a little bit sloppy with the basketball here, turning the ball over, not having good offensive possessions. So Cumberland will look to cut this to perhaps a 4-possession game. Williams short, kind of a forced 3 there. Stevens was wide open there with a shot. He'll get it again, no good, but it's going to be a foul. A late call there by the official, and we'll see who they get. It'll be Florent. That'll be his first. That was an aggressive defense by Florent. Didn't really look like a foul to me, but either way, that'll send Stevens to the line to shoot 2. His first 2 attempts of the game. First one good. Stevens 8 of 17 from the foul line this season. It's something about the Fred DeLay gym, I feel like. We've had games over the years that we've broadcasted here on E+ TV6 where it feels like teams that come in here just shoot better than their season averages. Especially at the charity stripe. So for those keeping account at home, 4 fouls for Union, 0 for Cumberland early in this second half. Those fouls could play a huge role down the stretch. Union only 3 fouls away from putting Cumberland in the bonus. Good job there by Gay, using his wingspan to his advantage. It's loose. And it will be stolen. 3 good by Williams. So now a 9-point game here at the Fred. Union desperately looking for an answer. A 7-0 run by the Phoenix. Boykin on the drive, a circus layup. No good, and it will be Cumberland basketball. A wild shot there by Boykin. Definitely forced it there, but that definitely was the play there. Boykin, the playmaker on this team. Union needed a basket. It was a nice drive, just couldn't finish, and it was a tough shot, really.
Dante, go to Sam.
Wright, good. Soft defense there by Butler. Wright took advantage. And Wright nailing his first 3 of the season. Now Butler with the response, kicking it out to Clausey. And Clausey responds with a 3 of his own, and Coach Niven will take a timeout. Union finally getting back on track. And after the timeout, it will be Cumberland basketball. Union up 9 here at the Fred.
My name is Ray Wilkins. I'm a 1995 Union grad, and I'm currently at Lebanon Baptist Church in Frisco, Texas, as the senior pastor. Union had a major impact on my life. I was a new convert at the time, and so Union provided me with a Christian environment where I could be discipled, where I could grow and nurture my faith. And then because I was a Christian studies major, the faculty at the time, Dr. George Guthrie, Dr. Paul Jackson, Dr. Kelvin Moore, were critical in teaching me how to understand and how to exegete the scriptures and how to apply it to my life. And that's my Union story.
Back here on E+ TV6, Coach Dave Niven talking things over with his guys, probably to reset the defense here. And Cumberland Alexander, they've really had their way on the offensive side of the basketball here in the past few possessions.
Absolutely. Cumberland has really been slimming that lead, following Williams and Powell's lead just has continued. They both are at 14 points here at the moment.
And following that, you've got Wright, who just hit a 3 with 7. But honestly, a lack of intensity on the defensive side of the basketball. We've seen that at times from Union, not only this season, but last season too. And Union with 11 turnovers on the offensive end, forcing 9 on Cumberland. So it'll be Cumberland basketball here with Union up 9. 13 minutes to play here in this second half. The 5 on the court for the Bulldogs. You've got Florent, Hicks, Gentry manning the 4 and 5, along with Boykin and Butler in the backcourt, and J.C. Clausey in there as well. We have Michael Chapman making his E-Plus TV6 debut here. And Michael, Coach Niven there, probably not happy with what he's seen from his guys on the defensive side of the basketball. What did he tell his guys in the huddle there for this possession?
You're exactly right, Coach Logan. Coach Niven has emphasized closing out on the three-point line and not allowing Cumberland to get these open shots that they've been getting, and also eliminating turnovers on offense so that they can't get out in transition like they have been.
There's Michael Chapman, and a good report there. And again, just they got to stop there on the defensive end. And Florent, looked like Butler was going to go for the alley-oop jam. Florent fouled hard. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Florent, free throw line, the place he's really struggled in the last game. And they're going to call that on the floor. The foul was on the alley-oop attempt. And so they'll get him underneath the basket. It looked like, to me, either way, it looked like a shot attempt. Either way you look at it, you don't really throw an alley-oop with the intent of not slamming it down or getting a layup. The ball was on the rim. So interesting call here, but it'll be Union basketball here. Boykin with it. It'll be a touch foul on Rogan. Second foul on Rogan. Excuse me, his first, the team's second. Butler to inbound for the Bulldogs. Gets it into Clausey, and Bulldogs with 15 to shoot. Butler driving baseline, another foul. 3 fouls in this offensive possession. So again, it'll be Bulldog basketball underneath. And another foul. This one will be on Stevens. That'll be his 4th. And the Phoenix will bring in a couple of subs, as we'll see Shamari Denson and Trinard Chester checking in for the Phoenix. Chester looking for his first point of the game, and then you've got Shamari Denson with 3 points. Boykin, quick 3, long. Looked like it had the trajectory though. It'll be out of bounds. Possession will go to the Phoenix. So it's Kareem Wright with the basketball. Inside, and the pass too wild there. If Chester was 6'9", maybe he could have caught that. But instead, it just rolls off his fingertips, and it will be Bulldog basketball. Butler with it, facing aggressive defense from Denson. Butler on the drive, pump fakes, takes the shot anyway, no good. Probably should have gone up sooner whenever he was off balance, could have drawn a foul. And a quick pull-up 3, no good. That is Rogan with a miss. We'll see Ty Parks with a rebound. Parks looking for his first 2 points of the game. Hasn't really seen a lot of action. Played only 2 minutes in that first half. Parks to the left corner 3, a beautiful stroke there from the freshman Ty Parks. And Parks will get whistled with a foul there. So good job to poke the ball loose, but too much contact. And that'll be foul number 5 for the Bulldogs. So back and forth start to this second half. Union with a 12-point lead over Cumberland here at the Fred DeLay Gym on E+ TV6.
I'm Logan Whaley. West Tennessee This Week is your weekend look at the top stories that are affecting your life. Whether it's the new direction for public schools in Jackson, a growing economy in our part of the state, the controversy over a new jail, or the men and women who work to keep our community safe, West Tennessee This Week will cover all the stories. When leaders make decisions to affect your life, we'll be there. Join us for West Tennessee This Week, Saturday nights at 10 and Sunday mornings at 10 on NBC 39.
West Tennessee This Week will air on NBC 39. But here on E+ TV6, a 12-point game between the Bulldogs of Union and the Phoenix of Cumberland out of East Tennessee. Well, Alexander, a back and forth start to this second half. What are you looking to see here out of the Bulldogs?
The Bulldogs really need to get back that intensity on defense. Now, we've been talking all night about defense, but it's really been a huge factor of this game. Their defense has not been intense these last few minutes here of the game, and it's really starting to show.
So Coach Niven probably stressing the importance of defense to his guys in the huddle. The final 11 minutes, 18 seconds here. Union will host Trevecca Nazarene the 17th, and then next week they'll travel to McKendree in Illinois, and they'll host Southern Arkansas next week, and then they'll travel to Valdosta State in West Florida for their first 2 conference games of the year. In Valdosta State, West Florida, 2 incredible teams, both ranked in the top 15 nationally. West Florida, the reigning Gulf South Conference champions, made it pretty far in the NCAA tournament. And too easy for Tyshawn Powell in the post against Ladante Hicks Gentry. And Alexander, you can't let Powell get that deep in the post.
Absolutely. We've seen them super hot this game. They should know better by now. We saw Coach Niven over here on the bench yelling at them to throw their hands up, and they waited just too long for that.
So now Boykin will look to answer here with 12 on the clock. Drawing the double, and that'll be a foul. And honestly, looked like pretty good defense from here. But 5 fouls even for each side here. And there's going to be a technical foul assessed. And no, you don't like to see this. I think they're going to get the technical foul on Hicks Gentry. We'll see if they call a double technical here on Tyshawn Powell. So breaking the action here, and I mean, you've seen tensions flare after that alley-oop, and we'll see what's called here. So it'll just be a technical on Ladante Hicks Gentry, and that will be the team's 6th. So we'll see Shamari Denson, the team's best free throw shooter, go to the line. He's 16 of 17 on the season. You don't like to see that, but yeah, tensions have been running high, especially on that alley-oop attempt. You saw Bryson Butler get knocked to the ground. He had some things to say, and a rare miss from Shamari Denson.
The first one of the night for Cumberland. First for the half.
I think I just have the announcer's jinx for whatever reason. 1 of 2 is Denson from the line. Make him 17 of 19 now on the season. You know, if this announcer jinx really works, then I don't think Tennessee won the national championship in basketball this year. I just don't see it. Anyway, back to the action here. You got Denson working it inside. Here's Powell drawing the double with Parks and Gay. Wide open 3 for Wright. Bulldogs didn't recover, but got away with it there. Parks with a rebound. Parks going up. He'll get fouled hard. That's honestly good defense there from Denson, but a good job by Parks going up strong, and he'll be rewarded with 2 free throws. And I tell you, if he would have posterized them, this place would have come unglued.
There are not a lot of fans here, but I guarantee every single one of them would have been up on their feet.
Myself included. I mean, there's no way. Ty Parks, the young 6'4", 170-pound freshman, only 17 years old when he first stepped on campus here at Union University. So the young fella with a lot of potential for this Bulldogs team.
Now, Logan, I think it's interesting to note how intense Cumberland's been on defense versus how intense the Bulldogs have been on defense. Really, that intensity has just not been matched by Union, and they've happened to get lucky in this half.
There you have it. That's a good assessment, honestly. Cumberland, this is a team that they have been battle-tested throughout the season. Again, with three exhibition games against teams and leagues ranked ahead of them. You know, Division II, Division I. But, I mean, they've competed in every game. And I think that's important to note. Every single one of their wins this year have been by double digits. 93-78 victory over Tennessee Wesleyan. At Fisk, winning 75-65. And at home against Martin Methodist, 78-68. Philander Smith, 75-65. And a 12-point victory, 100-88 in their last game. Last game that counts, I should say, against Oakwood. So again, another trip to the scorer's table. And I don't know what the holdup is. But either way, Parks this season, 1 for 3 from the charity stripe. Coming off of a really tough game. His last outing against Lemoyne Owen, 4 points on 1 of 6 shooting. Turned the ball over 3 times, did grab 4 rebounds. But this is a guy that is a legit double-double threat. Averaged 21 points and 10 rebounds last year at Middleton, 16 double-doubles. Had 1 game against a very good Humboldt program. He scored 43 points and added 18 rebounds. The All-West Tennessee Player of the Year, committed to Union over Delta State. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Good on the first. A smooth lefty stroke from Ty Parks. Two for 2 at the line as Parks.
That'll push him to 3 for 4 on the season.
Phoenix break the press. They'll get it back out to Rogan. Now again to Powell. He draws a double. Still goes up, can't finish. Good job there by the Bulldogs, getting the double team just in time. Now Butler with it. It's an interesting dynamic here, having both Butler and Boykin on the court at the same time. Butler going up strong, can't finish, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Butler with only 5 points tonight, 1 of 4 shooting, but most of his points coming from the charity stripe, 3 of 4 there tonight. Also adding 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Butler's a guy in his last season played, did not play last year. Averaged 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists just 2 years ago in community college. So he's a guy that can do it all out there on the court. And once again, I think we're having another issue with one of the scoreboards being frozen here. To our right, you've got a scoreboard that says 10 minutes and 40 seconds. You've got the other clock that says 9 minutes, 40 seconds, and the score is different. We also saw this scoreboard on the right side go off during the national anthem and come back on, so not unusual to have some issues here, but either way, I mean, this is a game, Alexander, with a lot of stoppage. So perhaps it's tough for either side, really, to get into a rhythm.
Especially here in the second half, we've seen a lot more fouls than we did in the first. In the first, I believe Cumberland had 0 attempts from the free throw line. But this half, they've had about 8.
Yep, 7 of 8 from the charity stripe. In the first half, you look at the fouls, 9 fouls for Cumberland and 6 for the Bulldogs, and we barely played half of the second half, and it's 7 fouls for Union, 6 fouls for Cumberland. Second of 2 from Butler, missing it long. Butler now 2 of 4 from the line.
That'll make him 2 for 4 on the night.
Excuse me, 4 of 6. Pump fake by Chester. Driving baseline is Powell, and no good. Close to goaltending there. It did hit the net. Somebody's hand did hit the net. Now here's Boykin on the drive. No good. Good rebound and a putback by Ty Parks.
Right there on that play, Logan, we saw Butler jumping and grabbing his left heel, but he seems to be fine now.
He did come up limp after a play early in the first half, but doesn't seem to have affected him. And a good pass and a good finish by Chester. And Coach Jeremy Lewis will take the time out. Still a 12-point game here at the Fred. 8 minutes, 50 seconds remain here on E+ TV6.
Propane, 95% generated in the U.S., is a gas that works anywhere. Central tanks for fleets, vehicles. Portable tanks for forklifts, lawnmowers. The fuel you can take anywhere. Even backup generation runs off propane. Household appliances, outdoor features. To find out more about affordable, clean, versatile propane, contact JEA's ProGas, 422-7500. The alternative fuel that makes sense. Propane, part of JEA today.
Back here at the Fred DeLay Gym, the Bulldogs holding on to a 12-point lead over Cumberland. Timeout taken by head coach Jeremy Lewis in his first season at the helm of the Cumberland men's program. But keep in mind that Smith was the women's coach for the past 9 years, leading the team to a 150-win, 116-loss record. So taking over on the women's side, or on the men's side, excuse me. This is a Mid-South conference in the NAIA that is real talented. We got a ton of teams ranked nationally with number 4 Georgetown, number 8 Pikeville, number 6 Cumberlands, the University of the Cumberlands in Kentucky, number 25 Lindsey Wilson, and a couple teams receiving votes with Campbellsville and Life. Every team except for 2 in this conference are either ranked or receiving votes. So Cumberland definitely in one of the premier conferences in the NAIA. Bulldogs with a basketball here. Butler on the left side. He'll use the screen from Gay. Now Clausey with it. Union really struggling to get motion here. Gay forcing it up. He'll get it to count, and the foul. Tough shot there from Gay. The contact forced him to really move away from the basket. Somehow found a way to get it to go through, and he'll be rewarded with one more free throw. Brandon Smith will check back in for the Bulldogs for Clausey, and Tyshawn Powell will check back in, and once again we'll have another visit to the scorer's table. I think if we counted visits to the scorer's table as points, probably would be the leading scorer for both sides. Samori Gay to the line. Drains it. Now 1 of 3 from the charity stripe tonight. Phoenix basketball here. Swinging it around the perimeter. Now inside to Powell. And a nice pump fake and a finish by Chester. He was wide open, decided to drive the ball in, get a better look. Give Chester 4 on the night. Now Parks on the drive, driving baseline. Boykin will take a contested 3, but he drains it. Give Tyree Boykin 15. Now a turnover. Here comes Union, and Butler will turn it back over, tried to force it inside. That'll lead to a wide open 3 on the other end, and Denson will miss it left. And again, 2 teams now playing in transition. Gay will take a wide open 3, why not? But he'll miss it short. Chester to Powell. And a nice move, but can't finish. Boykin with a strong rebound. Now here come the Bulldogs in transition. A no-look pass to Parks, who hammers it home. What a dish by Tyree Boykin. Look at the young fella, Ty Parks, slamming it in. That'll give the Bulldogs their biggest lead at 18. Now another turnover. Here's Butler lobbing it up. The layup good, and the Bulldogs have a 20-point lead. Ty Parks, a quiet first half, has exploded here in the second. Give him 11. Right on the crossover, missing it. And it's going to be a foul. That will send Wright to the line for 1 and the bonus.
Parks is now one of the few Bulldogs who are in double digits. We've seen the scoring be very even this game. They're at 75, but that's been really dispersed throughout the team.
We're going to have immediate timeout here. Union, biggest lead in the game. They're on a 7-0 run. Looking to close out here over the final 6 minutes. We'll see if they can here on TV6.
Steve Beverly's TV Classics can cure what ails you.
I watched and it got rid of my hemorrhoids.
Staying awake at night? Just watch TV Classics.
My daughter watched and she went right to sleep.
Do not watch Steve Beverly's TV Classics if fights upset your stomach. Do not watch if high drama leads to emotional distress. And do not turn on TV6 Saturday or Sunday at 7 if hillbillies give you a gallbladder attack.
Ask your doctor if Steve Beverly's Classics is right for you.
A 20-point game here at the Fred. Logan Whaley, Alexander Bitterling bringing you the call. And Alexander, in the words of Ron Burgundy, this game really escalated quickly.
It did. We've seen Boykin come back. He only played 12 minutes in the first half because of maybe a minor injury that he suffered. But we've seen him in this half. He's now up to 15 points, which seems kind of low, but that 8 minutes he sat on the bench, I think, really cost him there. But he's really come back on fire here in this half.
15 points does seem low for Boykin, given he's averaging nearly 40 to start the season. And Michael Chapman joins us again. And Michael, you know, Coach Niven's got to be pleased with the effort in the past few minutes from his guys.
Yeah, Coach Niven has emphasized in this timeout, don't get lazy on offense or defense and just continue to play hard and don't hesitate to shoot the ball. It's a 20-point lead, but there is still plenty of time left in this game, Logan.
Finishing strong, the point of emphasis for Coach Niven.
I think it's a very timely reminder, Logan. We've seen maybe the Bulldogs slacking a little bit near the end of the first half, at the beginning of the second half here. When their lead got a little bit higher, they got a little bit more comfortable on defense and just kind of left guys open.
The big question mark for the Bulldogs is if they can close out games this year. They've been, you know, even looking back to last year, and sure this year is a different team. But last year this team really struggled to close out games. Union would have leads in the first half, squandered, and they would be in pretty much every game, but it was just the final few minutes that the Bulldogs really struggled. We'll see if a new look for this year's team can change that. You got Gay on the inside now. He'll go up and finish strong. Semery Gay with point number 12 on the evening. I believe that will be a career high for him. Right-handed hook by Heath Starkey, looking at his first action here, no good. Starkey, the freshman forward, 6'10", out of Bucyrus, Ohio. Starkey, the transfer out of Ashland University in Ohio. Ashland, a storied women's program there, often called the UConn of Division II. The three by Clossy, forced, no good. 20-point lead for the Bulldogs. Here is Deontay Walters. Working it around the perimeter. Williams runs into a wall. Union slow to recover. The three by Williams, no good. So now a new look here is Asher Blum, another freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana, will check in. It seems that Ty Parks, count it. This kid is going to be something special. Exploding here in the second half, now has 13, a chance for 14. And fans who are familiar with the West Tennessee area, they've seen Ty Parks have big games before in high school, but if you're a Union basketball fan, it's got to be nice to see somebody else step up.
And as far as the Cumberland side, we've seen them be pretty silent here in the last few minutes. I think that's part of the reason Powell and Williams have been very silent. Williams is currently sitting the bench, and Powell has yet to score in the last couple minutes.
And we see Stovall with the steal and the finish. Give Stovall 10. So some balanced scoring for the Bulldogs, 4 in double figures. And the foul will go to Starkey. Starkey, the red shirt freshman. Last game played was against Martin Methodist. His first look here. So we'll see what the second string here for the Bulldogs have to offer, although most of these players are getting big minutes. Clausey thought about it. Stovall will take the right corner three, drains it. Peyton Stovall, only 2 of 6 from 3 on the season. We'll get a 3 there and another turnover. And we're gonna have immediate timeout. Union starting to pull away here. They're in the middle of a 10-0 run. We'll see if the Bulldogs can finish here on E+ TV6.
Gig, 1,000 megabit speed, now available to any E+ broadband internet customer. This gig enhanced infrastructure has the capacity to increase speeds in the future. E+ broadband, what many interpreted as JA's entrance into cable television, was actually the foundation of an unparalleled communications infrastructure. Looking out for Jackson's economic and lifestyle future is all a part of JEA today.
There you see the Union cheerleaders cheering on their Bulldogs, and after a momentary scare there in the first half, looked like a back and forth game. The first half that saw Tyree Boykin injured, still managed to come back and provide good, solid minutes for this team. He'll finish with 15 points in 26 minutes tonight. And we're going to see a mixture of the first string and second string for the Bulldogs. You've got Stovall, Clausey, Parks, Smith, and Florent, the 5 out there for the Bulldogs. And Alexander, what has led to the Bulldogs really pulling away here late in this game?
Their defense has been tight. Their offense has been tight as well. Every time they've missed a shot in offense, they've gone right in, gotten the rebound quick. Same with on defense. They've kept the ball. Every time Cumberland went up, they were on that man, and they jumped after that rebound.
So now we'll see Union with it. That was our final media timeout. Just want to remind everybody our next broadcast will be Saturday, December 8th, as Stovall misses from the same spot he hit the 3 earlier. And clock never started. Actually, it did. It did on the other scoreboard here. You probably won't be able to see it on the screen. There have been some issues. 3:31 is the time. So Union having some technical difficulties here, but it is November. You know, just like the teams on the court, they want to just work through some minor things and be ready to play by conference time. And really the goal for any team is to be ready come March. So little break, it'll be Cumberland ball. They're 5 out there. You've got Trenard Chester. You got Deontay Walters. You got Asher Blum, Heath Starkey. There's one more out there. That is the sophomore Brandon Levere, the 5'9" guard out of Columbia, Tennessee, the transfer out of Martin Methodist, appearing in his first game of the season. So it'll be Phoenix ball here. Working it around the perimeter. Almost a foul there by Florent. And the block by Parks. Good job by Blum. And it'll be Phoenix basketball, but you see there on the screen the shot clock down to 7. Gonna have to be a quick shot here for the Phoenix. No good, and they're gonna get a foul. We're gonna see on who. Either Parks or Florent. It'll be Florent. That'll be his second. Team's 9th. Next foul will put both teams in the double bonus. First free throw good by Blum. His first 2 free throws on the season. We'll have Coach Niven's thoughts. He'll join us after the game. Alexander Bitterling will have an interview with him. Block there. That'll be on Levere, who was in the restricted area. That'll put Smith at the line to shoot 2. Smith, this will be his first 2 free throws, not only of the night, but on the season. First one rims out. The second of 2. Bottoms. 28-point lead.
I think a lot of that, Logan, is due to Parks really coming alive. We saw him only play about 2 minutes in the first half, but now he's played here in the second half. He has a total of 14 points already.
Smooth jump shot by Asher Blum. Freshman forward, 6'7", with a lefty stroke there from the right elbow. Union was on a 21-5 run. That lets you know how quickly this game got out of hand. Clausey on the drive with the strong finish. These young freshmen are going to have to play a huge role for the Bulldogs down the stretch of the season. You've got J.C. Clausey as well as Ty Parks playing significant minutes tonight. Peyton Stovall, the redshirt freshman. It'll be Union ball.
We saw Smith there. He tapped the ball a little bit, and that caused the ball to go out of bounds.
For Cumberland, rather. And they're going to get a foul here on Chester. But for Cumberland, they will host Blue Mountain College. Or excuse me, they won't host Blue Mountain College. They're going to travel to Bethel to compete in the Chick-fil-A Classic. They'll face Blue Mountain College and the host team, Bethel. Then they'll play Union's familiar foe, Delta State, on the road. Delta State, a team that made it to the Gulf South Conference Championship last year, a team that it's kind of flying under the radar for this season. A team that really flew under the radar for the majority of last season, too. They made the Gulf South Conference Championship, and honestly, no one really expected them to make it that far. Smith drains the free throws, and it's a 30-point lead for the Bulldogs.
Logan, we just saw Levi Shaw enter the game.
Biggest reaction of the night. Levi Shaw, the fan favorite from Glasgow, Kentucky, the walk-on. No good there, and he'll get a rebound. He's in the stat book. We'll see if they give him a shot here. Less than 2 minutes to play. Shaw, a resident advisor on campus, lives with a lot of the basketball guys, really was brought on to be a locker room leader. Good to see him on the court. Stovall with it to nice dish to Tevin Florent. Levere, and there's going to be a foul called on Stovall. Hey, Levi Shaw, 1 minute, 1 rebound. Efficient night so far. So Levere will go to the line. Drains the first. But as for the Bulldogs, I mean, this is going to be a really tough schedule this year, especially early on. Front-loaded with Gulf South Conference games against top teams at Valdosta, at West Florida. Then later in December, you've got at Delta State. You've got Lee, who's always a tough opponent. You've got West Alabama, a team that gave Union a run for its money last year. You also got Alabama Huntsville at some point this season, too. Huntsville, a team that is absolutely one of the premier Division II programs. And Florent getting into the scoring column here late in this game. Give them 6.
Logan, you were talking about Shaw being the crowd favorite. The second he touched the ball, he had it for a few seconds, but the crowd started cheering. Probably the loudest we've heard him tonight.
A nice dish inside to the lanky Starkey, the 6'10" there. Gotta wonder if they're gonna give it to Shaw here. .16 to shoot. Levi in the left corner. But Shaw, I mean, yes, he is a walk-on, but also he's a 1,000-point scorer. A nice dish to Stovall, no good. And it's going to be out of bounds. Possession to the Phoenix. They wanted to give Shaw a look there. You could tell it was just good defense, but a good dish by Shaw. Actually, it's going to stay inside to the Bulldogs. I thought it went off on Union. The Union will dribble this one out, and it will be a 30-point victory, 94-64. Union comes out on top over Cumberland. They improve to 3-0 on the season. And as for Cumberland, they will face Blue Mountain College just Friday. As for the Bulldogs, they will host Trevecca Nazarene here at the Fred DeLay Gym at 4 o'clock. And when we come back, Alexander Bitterling will have Coach Dave Niven with the post-game interview.
Steve Beverly's TV Classics can cure what ails you.
I watched and it got rid of my hemorrhoids.
Staying awake at night. Just watch TV Classics.
My daughter watched and she went right to sleep.
Do not watch Steve Beverly's TV Classics. It bites upsets your stomach. Do not watch if high drama leads to emotional distress. And do not turn on TV6 Saturday or Sunday at 7 if hillbillies give you a gallbladder attack.
Ask your doctor if Steve Beverly's Classics is right for you.
Want to make your life a little easier? Now you can manage your Jackson Energy Authority account online. View statements, pay your bill, set up reminders, or recurring payments. Spend more time with your family, not your bills. It's easy. Just visit www.jaxenergy.com anytime and sign up. Make your life a little easier with online bill pay from Jackson Energy Authority.
My name is Ray Wilkins. I'm a 1995 Union grad, and I'm currently at Lebanon Baptist Church in Frisco, Texas, as the senior pastor. Union had a major impact on my life. I was a new convert at the time, and so Union provided me with a Christian environment where I could be discipled, where I could grow and nurture my faith. And then because I was a Christian studies major, the faculty at the time, Dr. George Guthrie, Dr. Paul Jackson, Dr. Kelvin Moore, were critical in teaching me how to understand and how to exegete the scriptures and how to apply it to my life. And that's my Union story.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Alexander Bitterling. I'm joined with a post-game interview with Coach Niven. Now, Coach, you had a 30-point victory here. Talk about some of the things you were proud about of your team here.
Well, first of all, I told our guys before the game I thought this was the best team we've played this year, and I mean, other than Louisiana Tech, but and so to win by 30, you know, we won the other day by 5 in a game. So we played well, really on both ends of the floor. I thought our guys defended really well. That was really what we were hoping for, just to establish an identity of defense. So really most proud of that. But then after an initial struggle in the first half to score, we found ways to score inside and out. A bunch of different guys doing it, wasn't just one guy, and so that's always encouraging.
Now, you said this was a hard game like you expected, but you guys really came out on top. Maybe in the first half you struggled a little bit with scoring, a little bit with defense. Talk about what you said to them in the locker room when you went in there at halftime up by 11.
Well, at first I I just reminded them, hey, did I tell you this was the best team we've played? And I think they understood at that point. I mean, they've got some grown men. They've got some Division I transfers that definitely can play at that level. And so, you know, I think we had their attention, but just really talked about we had a good stretch to end the half where Ty made 3 threes, and that gave us separation. But we've got to come out and be ready to defend. Felt like if we could step on them and get it up to 20 early, we could pull away. It took us a while to get to that point, but last 5-6 minutes we were able to pull away.
Absolutely, and in this game we saw the scoring was really evened out, right? There weren't a lot of members of the team that really scored a lot more than the other team. So talk about the way that the team worked together and they all scored to win this game.
Well, I think that makes you hard to play against when everybody can score a little bit and you don't have one guy averaging a ton. And obviously we started off the season with one guy averaging a ton, and he struggled early tonight, but he got going. Fortunately, we had other guys step up and make shots, make plays. Peyton obviously shot it really well in the second half, but we had 2 freshmen make threes there in the second half, coming off the bench, ready to do it. And then Sam inside in the second half, LaDante inside in the first half. Both those guys gave us buckets. So really pleased with their play overall.
Thank you so much, Coach, and congratulations on the big win.
Thank you.
And now we go back to the desk as Logan talks about the game, and we're going to talk over the stats.
Thank you, Alexander.
Community leaders are talking about Steve Beverly's TV Classics, but are they serious? Do they like classic TV? Do they really watch?
That's a lot of questions in one sentence, Steve.
What do they think about the host?
I don't have any clear answers to that.
What usually happens if you watch TV Classics?
A very entertaining evening for people.
Watch TV Classics Saturday and Sunday at 7 on TV6.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Propane, 95% generated in the U.S., is a gas that works anywhere. Central tanks for fleets, vehicles, portable tanks for forklifts, lawnmowers, the fuel you can take anywhere. Even backup generation runs off propane. Household appliances, outdoor features. To find out more about affordable, clean, versatile propane, contact JEA's ProGas, 422-7500, the alternative fuel that makes sense. Propane, part of JEA today.
I'm Logan Whaley. West Tennessee This Week is your weekend look at the top stories that are affecting your life. Whether it's the new direction for public schools in Jackson, a growing economy in our part of the state, the controversy over a new jail, or the men and women who work to keep our community safe, West Tennessee This Week will cover all the stories. When leaders make decisions to affect your life, we'll be there. Join us for West Tennessee This Week, Saturday nights at 10 and Sunday mornings at 10 on NBC 39.
Steve Beverly's TV Classics can cure what ails you.
I watched and it got rid of my hemorrhoids.
Staying awake at night? Just watch TV Classics.
My daughter watched and she went right to sleep.
Do not watch Steve Beverly's TV Classics if bites upset your stomach. Do not watch if high drama leads to emotional distress. And do not turn on TV6 Saturday or Sunday at 7 if hillbillies give you a gallbladder attack.
Ask your doctor if Steve Beverly's Classics is right for you.
It's a final here from the Fred DeLay Gymnasium. Union taking the victory over Cumberland 94-64. Bulldogs will host Trevecca Nazarene next. But let's go ahead and break down the final stats of this game. And first we'll start off with Cumberland. And this is a team that were led by Tyshawn Powell and Jason Williams, combining for 30 of the team's 64. So you look at the post-game stats here, 38.6% from the field was the Phoenix, 8 from 20 from 3, 12 of 14 from the free throw line. You see the rebounding total there. Union just dominating the glass, now rebounding them 39-25. And then you see the turnovers there, 14 for Cumberland, leading to 14 points for Union, 12 turnovers for Union, 12 points off turnovers for Cumberland. And for the Bulldogs, as you mentioned in the interview with Coach Niven, balanced scoring for the Bulldogs really was the key here. Tyree Boykin with 15 leading the way, had 5 threes. Then you had Peyton Stovall with 14. And, I mean, seemed like a quiet player in the first half, but really turned it on in the second half, shot the ball extremely well. And then you got Ty Parks, the freshman, exploding in the second half for 14. And then rounding out the scoring, you got Hicks Gentry, who played well in the first half. You got 6 from Florence, 6 from Butler, 5 from Clausey, 5 from Hawkins. So the Bulldogs are going to be hard to beat whenever they get everybody involved in the scoring as they did there. But Alexander, you mentioned it there with Coach Niven. It was really that second half performance that caused the Bulldogs to pull away here. What takeaways do you have from Union in this victory?
Well, I think they really started to play as a team in the second half, especially on defense, right? We saw the defense on the first half was very loose. Coach Niven talked about it a little bit. He said that they were only able to catch up because of those 3 threes by Boykin, right? But the defense was really loose. It wasn't really coordinated. But in the second half, we saw them come together, getting rebounds, getting turnovers, and then making that count towards baskets on the other end.
Defensive intensity, really the key here. 15 turnovers from Cumberland. And honestly, Cumberland, not a bad team. You know, Coach Niven said, one of the best teams he's played against all year, which is, it's interesting, yes, NAIA level, but, I mean, a good basketball team is a good basketball team regardless of level. So Coach Niven, really a quality non-conference opponent here from the NAIA. Looking ahead, you look at the schedule Union faces, and it's not really a favorable one. But continuing forward, what are some things that Union needs to improve on down the stretch?
Defense is big. We've been talking about it all night. It was a struggle, then they got to catch up. But if that defense stays like it was in the first half, they're going to struggle for the rest of the season.
And so now finally, we got to hand out a player of the game, and it's hard to do that with balanced scoring, but all around, who do you give our player of the game tonight to?
I got to go with Tyree Boykin. He's a player that we're used to seeing a lot out of, especially in these early games. We've seen him score beyond 20 both games. This game, he only had 15. He only played 26 minutes, though. We saw him passing around the key, making a lot of key plays, and then scoring when he needed to.
Yeah, Boykin, our player of the game, 5 of 9 from 3. Started off the game 0 of 6, but really closed the game well. Did miss some time. Typically he plays around 35, 37 minutes a game. Only 26 here tonight. Did miss a few minutes due to an ankle injury, but thankfully he's okay. Closed out the game really well. And then you've also got Peyton Stovall, one of the top players for this Bulldog team. They're going to need him to be a top player. 14 points, 5 rebounds. And then you've got Bryson Butler, really provide a lot of energy off the bench. 6 points, 7 rebounds, leading the team in rebounds and 6 assists. So really an all-around good performance tonight for the Bulldogs. They win this one, final score 94-64. They'll be back here at the Fred Saturday night against Trevecca Nazarene. As for our next broadcast, December 8th, Union basketball will host a doubleheader. It'll be 2 non-conference opponents, but we hope you join us here on E+ TV6. And that'll do it for us here tonight. He's Alexander Bitterling. I'm Logan Whaley, telling you all good night and God bless. Bulldogs win tonight. Final score, Union 94 and Cumberland 64.